Well, this is Baruch here, and we're going to go into the Likutei Maharan, Likutei Maharan number 2. This is the second Torah of Rebbe Nachman, and here we're talking about what it takes to build up the Mashiach. So here we come to the concept that for the Mashiach to actually have effect, we have to have machshava, we have to have mishpat. So it says, Be'ikar shel hamachshava zaros, that when we're davening, and we come to pray, and then we have all kinds of thoughts that have nothing to do with the prayers in our heads. Heim ayidecha bekilkul mishpat is because of the corruption of justice. Now, how is that working together? So let's try to understand what the Rebbe says. He says, Ki mishpat hu bechinas einim, because mishpat is the concept of eyes. Now, before he was talking about finding the seichel that there's in all the different things. We see this in other Torahs. Kamosha Kasav Yovo El Ein Mishpat, and they came to this place called Ein Mishpat. Zecha Bechinas Ein Yaakov. This is also the same idea as the well of Yaakov, which is the word ayin also, which means Ein is the same letters. Vayadei Kilkul Mishpat Bal Kilkul Le'einim. So therefore, when a person perverts justice, then it also corrupts his vision. In other words, what he can see, because the bribes, they blind the eyes of the chachomim. This is the concept of strange ideas, foreign ideas, that come from tefillah. Because these ideas, they cover your eyes. You're not able to see what it is you want to pray for. So that they covered over like a cloud for you. Now it says like this, in the future, when there is a tikkun that plagues in mishpat, in other words, it gets straightened out. There's a writing like that, Sion. Now Sion is the Kabbalah of this. If you wanted to know the sod of this, Sion refers to the Yesod of Malchus. She is redeemed, in other words, built, b'mishpat, by justice, which is the middle line, tifodeh, that will redeem her. Azai yisa'aver ananem m'nakasam al-ein. In other words, when the ultimate yichud is taking place, that removes the cloud that covered over the eyes. Kamosha Kosev, like it's written like this, Ke ayin ba'ayin yiru b'shuv Hashem Sion. From eye to eye, those eyes will see the return of Hashem to Zion. Who is Hashem? Hashem is Yud Kei Vav Kei. Yud Kei Vav Kei is another word for Yaakov. In this metaphor, it's another concept that we'll be talking about, the bris of Yosef. And that Yosef is able to be an extension of Yaakov. He is the concept of the Yesod of the male. So Tzion is the concept of the Yesod of the female. And here you have the Ayin, Ba'ayin, Yiru B'shuv Hashem, that Yudke Vavke was Zer Anpen, and the Yesod of Zer Anpen will return to Tzion. That's to make a Yichud there. V'shvil Zeh, and for this reason, Nikrak Yosef, that's why Yosef is called Bein Poras. So this really means the fruitful son, Ale Ayin, and he said bow by the well, a fruitful bow by the well. I said the Poras, he calls it a bow. So he says Ale Ayin goes up on the well or the eyes. In other words, that concept of Shmiras Abris keeps the Mishpat in line, and it keeps all the flow from up above coming down. So now he says like this, the Rebbe writes, also, so that everybody when he's praying has to have this kavanah. That he should tie himself to the tzaddikim of the generation. Why? He called tzaddik shebador hu b'bechidas Moshe Mashiach, because every tzaddik of the generation is called by the name Moshe Mashiach. He's the person who is anointed to bring us into what we're talking about over here with Rabbi Mimran and the Vekas, to bring us into that concept. Because they're pasukim where you see that the tzaddikim in the yeshiva, when somebody said something was good, they called him Moshe. Moshe Shafika Amat. So it's really good what you said. Moshe, Zeh Bechinas Mashiach. Moshe, that's the idea of Mashiach. Moshe Kasev Ad Ki Yavo Shiloh, until Shiloh will come. What is that? This is gematria here says, so this is the gematria of the word Mashiach. Somewhere in there. For call tefillah, the tefillah should call Echa Mispalel. So every time a person comes to pray, who Bechinas Aver, each person, let me read again. For all tefillah should call Echad Mispalel. So every person comes to pray, he becomes then, who Bechinas Aver Mahashchina, becomes like a limb, an extension of the Shechina. Shehem Avari Mishkan, which are the different parts of the Mishkan. Shehem Shum Echad B'Yisrael V'Yochel La'Allah, to be able to go up shaifa b'shaifa, with one limb after the next. He said one place to the next. Kol chad l'duktei ele Moshe b'lechud. So he wants to say it like this: the only way that you can actually pull yourself up. Now everybody there could be many different tzaddikim I think that a person could attach himself to, because everybody's not zoicha to be attached to himself to Rebbe Nachman b'feg. But the idea is the same. Is that the real tzaddik, the real righteous person, the person really has something to, an idealistic person who is working and worked on himself. It continues and wants to help you to work on yourself. This is the only one called Chag L'Dukte El Moshe B'Lechu, the only one that could bring you to the levels that you're able to get to. Would be only Moshe, or that individual, or those individuals for you who are able to do this. B'shvil zed sarak l'haviv l'kasher kol ha'tefillah t'tzadik ador. So therefore it's necessary to tie and to bring all the tefillahs to the tzadik ador, k'moshe kasav v'yaviu es ha-mishkan al Moshe, that they brought the Mishkan to Moshe. He said before that there were all different parts of the Shechina. And he's able to put every single different part in its proper place, and to be able to bring it into a complete and total column, or a building. I guess that's what it means. It was Moshe that did this. What does he mean to say like this? He says that you go into a minyan of 25 people. Everyone is an individual. Everyone has their own needs and their own purposes. And we're all corrupted in a lot of different ways. Our mishpat is not 100% the way it should be. But we could attach ourselves to great tzaddikim. And that's what he's recommending here. It's to understand that tzaddikim have paved the path for you. So the kol ha-Torah she'adam lomed l'shmor v'lasos, the whole, whatever Torah that a person learns in order to guard it and to do it, so therefore, when he's doing this, all of the Torah themselves are sparks of the shamos, and they're clothed inside of the tefillah. Now let's hear the words one more time. He says, Kol ha-Torah she'adam lomed l'shmor v'lasos. So you're learning Torah. Why are you doing it? Because you want to keep the Torah and you want to do the Torah. So the letters of the Torah that a person is learning, they are actually, he says, they are actually nitzutze neshamos. They are sparks of neshamos, meaning they're aspects of the infinite one. And they're clothed inside of the tefillah of nischadshim, and they become renewed. Sham bebechinas ibor. They become renewed as if they were just gestated. So he says this is brought over in the Shara Gilgulim. Shekol the neshama besoch hamalchus. All of the neshamas come into malchus bebechinas ibor v'nischadshim sham, and they are renewed there. We're going to start, and we're going to stop right here. This is Baruch Fleischman with a simple reading of the Likutei Maharan.